Good morning. It is just after sunup and it is already hot and muggy. I don't care for the summertime, as you guys know. It's rough on me. I don't like the heat and the humidity. Anyway, I've been walking for about 30 minutes. I got up early. I've been thinking about what to say, and I don't really have an idea for a topic today. So I figured I would just see what happens when I turn the camera on. I've been in kind of a personal funk lately. One of my longtime friends is just a sad, negative mess, and I can't do anything to help her, and that gets me down. My personal life is a mix of good and bad. The people in it love me, but they don't really build or do anything. And the more I try to encourage them to care, the more they think that I'm a crazy person out of touch with reality, which is very sad. But that's sort of the life that I made for myself, being an open, vocal dissident to talk about things that are against the grain. And yeah, so I'm not in really a good mood, and I haven't been for quite some time. And this I don't know how autistic he is, but this obsessive guy, who I won't name, has been spamming my comment section the last few weeks. And I don't really know what his point is, but he keeps challenging me because on these morning walk videos a lot, I talk about doing things, building things with people. And I don't know really if this is a personal attack or if that's just how I'm interpreting it. But he's making lots of comments like, you know, what do you have to show for it? What have you done? What is there now after 2 years? Well, the answer is there's a lot, but not for me. That's the answer. Despite my best efforts to build what I would consider a healthy, positive community where I live, I have basically bupkis. Nothing. Because the people here, they are all just selfish individualists. I can find a little bit of community through church, but that's not really much. Everybody that I'm connected to, my cousins, my friends, my loved ones, they don't really build community. We do activities occasionally. It's good to have family. It's good to live in a community who hasn't forgotten its identity, which this place hasn't yet. But personally, no. I'm not really any better off when it comes to having a healthy community that I'm a part of than I was when I started this channel 5 or 6 years ago. And if anything, personally, mentally, I feel more isolated than I did when I started it. This is not a jeer at people like Jason Kuna, the No White Guilt guy. This is not a jeer at the other people that I have learned a lot from, like Academic Agent or Dave the Distributist. No, it's not. I'm not saying that this is their fault or they radicalized me or anything. But years ago, when I started paying attention to people who had been at this dissident talking sphere for much, much longer than I have, I thought that it would be possible to take the things that I learn and experience, the things that I've opened my mind to, the stuff that I see now, and apply that to my personal life and my personal relationships to change the people in my life and inspire them to get their heads in the game because real things are at stake. And I thought wrong. None of my years of efforts with the people in my personal life have accomplished much at all. And if anything, it has made the people in my life think that I'm an out-of-touch, unstable, crazy person. More so than they did. So, I do kind of feel like a failure in that way, and that haunts me. I don't feel like a failure with the content that I make, because I know that I say and speak and do things that other people find value in, or they wouldn't share my material and they wouldn't financially support me. So, I know that it's at least interesting and entertaining. And I would like to think that my wisdom, my advice, the kinds of topics that I want to talk about, the different people that I talk to, on the streams I do, I would like to think that some good has come of that for people who listen. It probably has, but that's not really very personally fulfilling for me. I've always just wanted a community and a family, and I think that being bereft of that and being thwarted at having that at every turn is what drove me to be a content creator. Because if you look at some of my earliest content, if it's even still up, I don't know, I talk about things about discovering purpose and why there's this thing, this ugly white guilt that makes us all disassociate from one another. Like, these are some of my earliest videos from like 5 or 6 years ago. And it was because I felt like it was impossible for me to build the things that I wanted to build, and I couldn't motivate people around me to care. And I don't think that I can today, 5 or 6 years later. So I do kind of feel like a personal fucking failure. And that's been eating at me lately. Because for 3 or 4 years, I've been getting pressure from my husband, from one of his best friends, from my mother, from her husband, for me to like quit all of this. They don't want me to do this because they feel like it radicalizes me and keeps me from having connection and communication to them. And they are correct. Being part of this dissident sphere, learning about how to talk about things, learning about how to view things in government, learning how to view things in the media, it has alienated me from my loved ones. And I don't really know how to fix that. I don't know if there's any fix to that. I don't even know if stopping my channel and stopping the work I do would make that any better at this point. But I do feel like a personal failure. And I hate that. Because I don't like feeling like an empty, alone failure. And I kind of feel that way in my personal life most of the time. Despite being around people, despite having family who care about me, despite living in a really nice area that is mostly all homogenous, East Tennessee, white Christian, normal people here, despite being around this all the time, when I try to engage with the people I'm personally connected to and get them to build community, nothing happens. Like, maybe once a year I'll do something with more than just 1 or 2 people at a time. I'm not talking about the events that I put on for people that follow me and that are part of all of this. I mean people in my personal life. Once a year there might be a small birthday party where I see a handful of my family. But when I ask my cousin, hey, you want to get together? Maybe to get one of your brothers, one of our other cousins who has kids, and maybe us have a picnic or go fishing or something. Nothing ever comes back from that. When I talk to my mother about maybe trying to get involved with people younger than her and maybe make her own church group, that never goes anywhere. She doesn't want to do that. And I've tried for years to get my husband and our friends and my cousin and people to get motivated to do anything that actually builds social connection and builds, like, I don't know, just what I guess you could regularly just call regular community stuff. Nobody in my personal life is interested in doing any of that. Maybe that's just indicative of the times that we live in, where people are just becoming more and more atomized. Or maybe that's just my personal experience with it, but it wasn't like this when I grew up. It wasn't like this here 40 years ago. It wasn't. There were community events, cookouts, barbecues, fishing trips, picnics, birthday parties. And not just for kids, for everybody. Families and aunts and cousins and friends and people getting together to do stuff. And I ask now, like my cousins, most of them have children. And I ask what they do. They don't do any of that. They live here. They grew up like I did. But they're not repeating the things that were done with us and for us when we were kids. They just don't. And it makes me feel kind of hopeless, personally. Like, why bother? Why bother investing at all in these people around me when they don't want to? So I think I'm going to stop. I just think I'm going to give up. Because I've tried for years to get the people that I'm personally connected to care and to change, and they just don't. And they have no interest, seemingly, in building what I think would be the one thing that we should all be invested in building, which is community. They're not interested in that. Nobody here is. it's just painful. And that's what I've always wanted. It's one of the reasons why I was such a degenerate. And when I was young, I was led to doing ugly things and partying and drugs and just all the stuff that I did that I wish I had never done. It's because I wanted community and friendship and being connected to others and doing things that were fun and enriching. And I was, unfortunately, because I grew up when I did, I was courted by a lot of bad things and pulled into doing dumb things. You know, drugs and sex and partying and just the usual hedonistic lifestyle stuff. I wish I hadn't done all that. On one hand, you know, like my friend Chris, Newsfist, he says, well, Yizz, if you've never had those experiences, you wouldn't be able to talk on them. You wouldn't be able to witness about them. I guess that's true. But I still wish I hadn't done all that gross stuff. Wish I hadn't. But anyway, I don't feel good. I'm more sane and more stable than I used to be. But I'm not fulfilled and I'm not happy. And my personal life continues to be a very sad thing for me. And no matter how I try, I don't feel any changes or much positivity in my personal life. I am very thankful that I have people who care about me. I'm very thankful to have that because so many people don't. But I can't influence them to build or to do or to grow in ways that I think they should. And so I'm going to have to give up. Because if I keep trying to get them to do things that they don't want to do, it's just going to build resentment. It's going to destroy what little personal relationships I have left. So I have to face my own failings. And that's been haunting me lately. I just have to face the music. That I have a quiet little life that isn't connected to hardly anybody or anything, other than the events that I do with the dissidents. But in my personal life, I am a failure. And I have to embrace that. I have failed at almost every large project I have tried to build with other people, whether it be a relationship, a business, a community group. I have failed at that in the greatest of ways my whole life. I am a personal failure. And you know, they say those who can't teach. And that's probably what has led me to this, to talking to you, to hosting streams, to creating engaging content for people who are looking for answers and community. Because I have failed to be able to do any of that in a real way in my own life. So I am a failure, and that is what led me to doing this and talking to you. I wish it wasn't so, but it is so. So, I'm going to do my best to keep doing the events that I do twice a year, the picnic in the spring, the camping trip in the fall. I'm going to do those. I'm going to be nice to my husband and my mother. I'm going to be nice to my cousin and my friends. But I think that I'm going to give up in my personal life. I'm going to give up. Because if they were possible to motivate, to activate in this war that we're in, they would have been activated by now. And they aren't. So I'm giving up on them. And I'm giving up on trying to build something for me in my personal life that is greater than what I have already. I'm giving up. I don't know how this is going to affect me or what I'm going to build going forward, but I had a really long, heartfelt talk with my husband Friday, and it spilled over into Saturday. And I'm getting old. I'm in my mid-40s. And there's really not much left for me, personally, other than just trying to enjoy what little bit of life I can. And while I do enjoy helping people network working with the Old Glory Club, working with the white well-being community. None of that work spills over into my private life. And so, at what point do I start focusing on my private life and personal relations more than I focus on all of this? I don't know. I don't know what is healthier for me, and I don't know what I should do. And I've been praying about it. But no answer has come yet. We will see. Anyway, this video's been probably fairly long, so I should probably wrap it up. Let's stop here. We'll stop here at this unused lot over here in the wealthy people neighborhood. It's very pretty here. I like it. So, I am a troubled person. I always have been. I became a content creator to try to find answers in community to make sense of the evils and the lies that I discovered in my culture. And I did. And things didn't get any better. And I tried to pull my loved ones with me on this journey, and they rejected it. And I've tried to build community with people personally here that I know and am connected to, and I have failed. And I don't think I'm going to try anymore. And I guess that's it. I will be back this Thursday night with Empire of Lies, and assuming I'm recording this Monday morning, since it takes a long time to do uploads out here. It'll go up Tuesday morning, tomorrow morning. So tomorrow from now, Tuesday, today when you're listening to this, hopefully I will have gotten positive messages from people that I want to do a pickup stream with for Tuesday afternoon. To talk about meetups and organizations and that kind of thing. Because I met some really wonderful people at the OGC event this year that I'd like to talk to. So if at least one of them can be on a stream with me tomorrow, meaning Tuesday, today when you're listening to this, I'll have a pickup stream today. But if that doesn't happen, then the next thing that I'll have is Empire of Lies this Thursday night. So, like always, keep heart, speak the truth to all who have the ears to hear it, and do the best you can. It's all that anybody can ask, really. I've done the best I can. Sadly, it didn't get me what I wanted. But it is what it is. And I've got people who love me. And I guess that's something. So I'm going to try to embrace that and be happy with that. I love you guys. Have a great week. God bless.